Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We hope that the presentation that Natasha and I will present to you today, we hope that you will find it useful. Um, to begin, I just want to congratulate all of you on being admitted to Queen's Arts and Science Online. We hope that you find this information session informative. Our student team is always here to help you as best that we can. And before we begin, I just wanted to acknowledge that Queen's University is located on the stolen lands of the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We at Arts and Science Online are committed to ensuring that our students have a better understanding of Canada's ongoing legacy of colonialism and the importance of decolonization. It is important for us to think about the land in which we all live, work, and play, and to find time to commit to learning and meaningful action. If you are unsure of where to start, we will share a list of Indigenous resources with you attached to the message where you receive this recording. There is also a document there with the links that we've referred to in this session, and you can find that Indigenous resource link on that document. So this document is a living resource, and so we invite you to share additional learnings that you may have with us by sending it to our asc.online@queensu.ca email. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. So to start off, my name is Heather, and I am the Heather Carter. I am the Student Engagement Lead with Arts and Science Online. And joining me today is one of our peer mentors, Natasha. She is here to give us the student perspective. I'll just let Natasha say hi for a moment.
Hi everyone, I'm in my last year of the psychology program online, and I'm also peer mentor here to assist you with anything you need.
Thanks, Natasha. And also on our team, but who aren't with us today, are Andra and Lisa. You may have already been communicating with them by telephone or by email. And so, everybody at Arts and Science Online, specifically the student team, is here to help you along your academic journey as best that we can. Please do not be afraid to reach out to us with your questions or concerns, and we are here to help you as much as we can. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Natasha, who will start the presentation off by talking about how online learning works with Arts and Science Online. Over to you, Natasha.
Thank you, Heather. So as I mentioned before, I am in my final semester of the online psychology BA program. I love the flexibility that this program offered me so I could continue to work, finish my degree, and make time for personal and family responsibilities. So a common question we get is, what is the difference between asynchronous and synchronous studies? So synchronous courses will have set meeting times, while asynchronous courses do not. Most of our online courses are asynchronous, but there are a few of the synchronous sessions, such as STAM 200 and the Beta 100 and 101 courses. For example, say you're taking Write 120, you won't have a live lecture at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday that you need to attend, but instead you will follow along the timeline in the on-cue course to learn what to watch or read and which assignments or discussion boards you'll have to complete. We'll talk more about the timeline in the next slide. If your course does have a required synchronous session, there will usually be various sessions you can choose to attend, or a recording of the event may be posted in OnCue so that you can catch up at a later time. So not all courses have recorded lectures, and most of our courses at Queen's are either 3-unit or 6-unit courses. A 3-unit course is equivalent to a half credit course, which will run from one term, such as September to December, and a 6-unit course, also known as a full year multi-term fall and winter course, is equivalent to a 1 credit course. And those typically run from September to April. So courses are offered in terms and sessions. So there are 3 terms: fall, winter, and summer. However, a session is an academic period within a term. So the summer term is the only term with sessions. There are 3 sessions in the summer term: May to July, which is 12 weeks, and May to June and July to August, which are both 6 weeks. So just a note about the summer term, class selections usually open early February and summer sessions run at an accelerated rate compared to the usual fall and winter terms. So as a result, you can expect double the workload when enrolling in summer term courses, unless you are taking a 3-unit course during the 3-month May to July session, which resembles our fall and winter terms. So we advise students that it is not recommended to take more than 2 courses during the summer term. All right, so with tuition, once the students' fees have been posted in SOLIS, their tuition will appear there as well. So tuition is due at the beginning of each term. Do note that there are 3 categories of tuition fees: domestic, which are students living in Ontario, domestic students living outside of Ontario, and international student fees. You should also be aware that students in Ontario must be in the degree program to be eligible for government funding, such as OSAP. But please consult with your funding agencies to clarify what the requirements are. So there are 2 ways that you can pay your tuition, either by credit card or bank transfer. Queen's does not accept cash payments. If students think they need more time to pay their tuition, they can apply for the alternative payment arrangement, but this must be done in advance from the start of the term. More information on the deadline to apply and the process, visit our tuition and fees page on the Arts and Science Online website, or visit the Office of the University Registrar's webpage. So next we'll discuss textbooks. So textbooks may be required for your courses. If a textbook is required, then you will find the information on OnQ as well as on the ASO website under specific courses you're planning on taking. There are a few ways to purchase your textbooks. There's the campus bookstore. You can find the ones you need either in OnQ or on the ASO course pages, or search the bookstore website. I usually like to see what textbooks are required for my courses prior to enrolling, just so I have a good idea for planning. But we'll also add the link to that. So for Facebook, you can find used textbook through Facebook groups, but some versions can be out of date. So make sure the one that you need is the same one that matches on the course website. You might also be able to find your textbooks on sites like Amazon or Indigo. If you have a university library in your hometown, you may be able to take out a book you need. Some students even choose to buy or rent their textbooks from a company called Vital Source. It sounds like the cost might be a little bit cheaper, so you don't have physical textbooks to get rid of once your course is over. And I'll also add that as well. So for exams, some courses may have exams while others may not. To learn if your course has an exam, I recommend that you review your course outline and the ASO course website under the evaluation section. If I'm personally taking a challenging course or a demanding course in one term, I consciously try to pair it with another course that does not have an exam that term to help manage my workload. So Arts and Science Online uses an online proctoring service called Examity. You will need to have a camera on so that the proctor can see you while you're writing your exam. We recommend that you choose a private, quiet space where you will not be interrupted. You will also have to do a room scan, and you will require a mirror to show your workspace and the top of your laptop computer. Students can choose from 2 exam center locations when you choose your exam center options. So the online proctored exam, 2222, or Kingston, which is the 4251 option, students will have the choice to come to campus to write their exam free of charge, but we acknowledge this won't work for everyone, or they can choose to write online via Examity. There's also a $100 fee per course for online proctored exams. This fee will be charged to your student account when your tuition has been posted there as well. So while taking an online proctored exam with Examity, you have access to a practice exam so that you know what to expect the day of your actual exam. You will also have a particular time frame to schedule your exam. I believe it is currently within 24 hours. So if you are working all day, you can schedule your exam for an 8 p.m. start time, for example. ASO will be hosting a lunch and learn this coming February on this topic. So watch for it in the e-news to register. Queen's does have an exam bank that may be useful to you, but please know that not all courses have sample exams posted there, but it may give you a general idea of what your exam could look like. You can find this resource by searching for Exam Bank on the Queen's Library website. We recommend that students familiarize themselves with their exam dates. These dates are firm and cannot be changed. You will need to modify your personal plans around these dates. You can find your exam dates for your course in OnQ. For those of you who may require academic accommodations for your exams, we recommend that you submit your requests as early as possible. You will need to do this via the accessibility services within Student Wellness. You will then be required to submit your accommodations in Ventus so that your exam is modified to suit your needs. So next, I will turn back over to Heather to talk about websites, Solus, and our learning management platform called OnQ.
Thank you, Natasha. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how you might go about navigating the Queen's website. So the main Queen's website, you can usually get to that by clicking the Queen's logo from any page. But we just recently had a refresh on our Arts and Science Online page, and the Queen's logo that is not working right now. But if you're on the University Registrar's webpage, you click the Queen's logo, then typically that will work. But usually the main location that you will access would be through your My Queen's U portal, which is the image that you see on the left-hand side of the screen. So usually you'll also see the search and sign in box, and sorry, that will take you to the My Queen's U portal. And then from there, you will have access to Solus, OnQ, all kinds of other options that you might need. You can also access a free copy of Office 365 as part of your being an active Queen student. So you see that in the gray box underneath the Queen's University logo on the right-hand side of the screen. You can also see this is the best way to log into your Outlook for web, OnQ, Library e-resources, and then of course the 365. So a piece of advice that we have to offer you with for using Office 365 is to recommend that you save your work to the cloud instead of your desktop, or be cautious and save it to both, because there have been incidences where we've heard from students that their computer crashes and they can't access their assignment. So if you save everything on the cloud, then at least that's going to protect you to make sure that you won't lose your work to submit in time for your deadline. So in the links document, we will also give you the main web page for My Queen's U portal, which is just http:// my.queens.ca. So if you have that memorized, then no matter where you are, you can just type that in your navigation bar in Google or whatever search engine you're using. All communication with Queens will be sent to your Queens email address. So it's very important that you check your Queens email often. And so a way of doing that is by, using the Office 360 And you may also want to set Queens up as part of your safe sender list, and that will ensure all of the communication that you receive from Queens will go to your inbox and not your junk mail. Um, and we also ask that when you communicate with Queens, that you do so from your QueensU email address, and to also please include your student number in the message that you send. When we have your student number, that just allows us to look at your student record to understand the question that you are asking and to give you the appropriate advice on a more timely fashion instead of sending you an email to say, oh, can you send me your student number? It will just speed things up a little bit. Um, we also recommend that you get the Outlook app for your phone. As we all most of us carry phones around in our back pockets these days. And you can also set it up to get notifications. So, that might be an easy way to help you ensure that you're accessing your Queen's email often. And with your Queen's email address, it's funny, it's numbers, letters, and numbers. So you can certainly create an alias for your email if you prefer to have, for me, I would say heather.carter@queensu.ca. If you prefer your name to be your email address. So that is something that you can easily do. So another part of the website that I want to explain is it's not on your screen, but we have a getting started section of our arts and science online webpage. It's under current students. And we highly recommend that you take a look at that. There's some information there that will help you learn how to log into your Queen's email. So that might be helpful. And I've already talked about the 365. So just a highlight on that 365, I talked about the Outlook, but the subscription also includes Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and all of the Microsoft suite, essentially. And so to download that, you would need to go to the Software Center under the productivity section. Productivity application section in my QueensU portal when you click on the student filter on the left-hand side. And that would be the bar in the blue that you see on the left-hand side of the screen there. So hopefully that will be helpful for you. So the next platform we're going to talk about is Solus. So many of you have probably already interacted with Solus by accepting your offer of admission. And by now, hopefully most of you have enrolled in your courses for the winter term. Solus is our administrative platform. This is where you would go to see how much tuition you owe, to get your tax receipts, to view your grades, to register your courses, to see your course history, to view unofficial transcript, to view financial aid information. The list goes on and on. This is where you can also manage your personal information on Solus, such as your address, your phone number, as well as give personal release of information to another person in your family if necessary. If you wanted your spouse or a parent, for example, to talk about your specific Queen's record with an academic advisor or with any of us on the ASO student team, we would not be able to disclose that personal information unless you have a release of information. So doing that is definitely helpful. So again, everyone should have already enrolled in courses. If you have not, then please do so before Sunday, January 8th. And the reason for that is because Monday, January 9th is the first day of classes for the winter term. And it is also the day that our ASO distance reserves expire from our winter term courses. So if you aren't in a course by then, there won't be anything we can do to help you gain access, unfortunately. So please do so as soon as possible. To help you with your course enrollment, we've set up our course enrollment page on our ASO webpage under current students. And so this will give you information on how to add courses, how to drop courses, how to swap courses. It should give you everything you need. There's also a video tutorial on there as well. And then the last point, oh no, I guess it's not my last point. We also recommend that you allow pop-up windows for your web browser if you wish to print any documents from Solus, such as your transcripts or your academic requirements report or even your tuition forms. So always make sure that you allow pop-ups for Queen's U. Otherwise, you will think that you're not getting the information that you are trying to access. And Solus is also a place that you will go once you complete your degree requirements or your certificate program. And this is where you will apply to graduate. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about our learning management platform called OnQ. So Arts and Science Online offers courses through OnQ, which is your classroom, if you will, and you can essentially access it from anywhere you are in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. And of course, as long as there's no firewall that prevents you from accessing this page. But basically, you would log in to your courses on the first day of classes, or sorry, you will not be able to gain access to the course until the first day of classes. Some students like to log in advance to sort of scope out the course, but that unfortunately is not an option. So you will not get access until Monday, January 9th. Okay. You will get a welcome message from your teaching team in your course that will point you in the right direction of how to navigate your course. And typically, I think most courses are well laid out and fairly easy to navigate. As you can see from this screenshot, you can see that there are some OnQ training videos available for you to help you navigate this new platform. There's also a great resource in the current student section of our webpage under the Getting Started that gives you a short walkthrough. And in fact, January 17th, I believe it is, we will be hosting a lunch and learn on how to navigate OnQ. So I would highly recommend any new student who has not used this platform before register for that. So if you go visit our events, our dates and events section of our webpage to register for that event if you are interested in that. So your course instructor is the teaching team lead. And as you can see on the screen here on the right-hand side on the bottom, you see who the teaching team for that particular course would be. Sometimes a course may have multiple instructors that teach the course. Other members of the teaching team may include teaching assistants who are typically graduate students who are completing their master's or their PhD programs, or they may also be academic assistants who are full-fledged employees of the university and not currently studying in a graduate program. But it's also important to note that not all courses will have TAs, okay? And if you should require an academic accommodation related to a disability or an impairment, we highly recommend that you reach out to Queen's Accessibility Services as soon as you can to ensure that you have the assistance that you require. It's best that you start this process as early as possible because the weeks before the term and the weeks after the term begins, they're very busy and sometimes it is quite difficult to get an appointment. If you think this is something that you need, I would contact them as soon as possible. Now, for those of you who are starting, this group, you are starting in January. So you are at a little bit of a disadvantage because this recording is not being sent out to you until the first week of January. And of course, classes begin January 9th. So um, that might be a bit of a time crunch for you to get an appointment. So if you are struggling and you haven't been able to access accommodations, then please reach out to our office and we will, try to help you in any way that we can to help you be successful in the beginning weeks of your course. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the timeline that Natasha made reference to a little bit earlier. So, because online learning tends to be more self directed, it's very important that you organize yourself correctly and stay on top of your workload in order to be as successful as you want to be. You will want to pay close attention to the timeline section that you see on the screen. So, this is the page that basically lays out exactly what's happening week to week. This resource will tell you your assignments, your tests, your quizzes, when they are due. Following this will help you stay organized and on track with your academic responsibilities. All information you need for your course will be available within the OnQ platform. So, dates and deadlines, where to post your discussions, uh, where to get updates. Oh, sorry, you will get updates and course announcements from your instructors. So, when Natasha was referring to the exam schedule, once that's released, you'll get an announcement on your OnQ course to let you know you can now go in and schedule your practice exam and your final exam. And so, definitely, those announcements are very important to keep on top of. Also in OnQ, you can set up a profile and set up notifications in order to be alerted when you are getting an announcement or a discussion post, or even if your grade is being posted. So we highly recommend that you take the time to set up your profile and add in the notifications for the items that you wish to be notified about. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Natasha, who's going to talk about academics. Over to you, Natasha.
Thank you, Heather. So we have 5 Bachelor of Art degrees and 1 Bachelor of Science degree in psychology, history, liberal studies, English, global development studies, and life sciences. Plus, we have 6 certificates you can add to your degree, which are academic writing, employment relations, entrepreneurship, innovation and creativity, French for professionals, global action and engagement, and media studies. So all ASO degrees are 3-year, 90-unit general degree. While a highly marketable credential, a general degree is not aimed at providing students with direct access to graduate level studies, depending on the program. Many graduate level degrees require a 4-year, 120-unit honors degree. If you are considering continuing your education at the graduate level, it is strongly recommended that you research the programs you are interested in to determine if a 3-year general degree is acceptable for admission. So, what is the difference between a 3-year versus a 4-year degree? So, a 4-year honors degree requires 120 units. The plan requirements are double that of a general degree. Many honor students' plans require 300 and 400 level seminar courses towards the plan requirements that are not designed for online studies at this time. So, if interested in transferring to a 4-year campus based degree, speak with an academic advisor. However, if you have started in the psych degree program, then transferring to the campus based program is not possible at this time. This is due to space constraints on the campus based program, which are basically the amount of bums and seats. They just can't take on extra students who started in the ASO degree. Okay, so what are the post degree options? So, while our 3-year general degrees are not designed to prepare you for graduate level work, some of our students have, in fact, been able to take their ASO degree on to postgraduate studies. So, on the screen, you'll see 5 examples of where grads have gone to study. Some students have also told us that they have found programs in the UK and in the US as well who have accepted their 3-year degree from ASO to get into a graduate level program. Ultimately, we recommend that you do your own independent research on where you can take your ASO degree. Adding a certificate or two may help you earn the equivalent of 120 units so that you may be eligible for post degree programs. There are also so many options out there, and every program has its own requirements. This is why we can provide a list of future options for you. We would recommend you consider what your end goal is, then work backwards to see if the ASO degree will meet grad program requirements. So later in the session, you will learn about our closed Facebook group. Learning what your peers are doing post graduation is another reason to join the group. Next, we'll talk about the structure of our ASO degree programs. Okay, so for academic planning, your 3-year degree is comprised of the following course types. So the first is core courses, and these are courses that are required of your plan, and you have no choice but to take them. You do not have to complete your core and option courses first, but it's a good idea to take them when they come up, since sometimes not all courses are offered every year. The second is option courses. These are courses that are required of the plan, but you get to choose from a list of which courses you find most interesting. And the last is electives. So you are best to choose courses that interest you the most to complete your electives. Be warned that prerequisites may still be required for elective courses. So for this, I would advise you not to take a course because you heard that it was easy for somebody else. Take a course that you really like and will interest you because you'll probably do better on that. So for transfer credits, if you have completed a post-secondary education at another university or college prior to Queen's, you may be eligible for between 18 to 42 units to transfer credits towards a 90-unit BA or the BSc general degree. And a maximum of transfer units that can be applied to the plan requirements of the degree are between 12 units for BA and 18 units for the BSc. A transfer credit assessment can only happen after you have accepted your offer into the degree program. For college level transfer credits, your units will be applied as a block of unspecified credit, which will count towards your elective requirements. However, university level transfer credits are assessed on a course by course basis. This means that you will get direct transfer credits towards either your elective or plan requirements. If you require more information about this, we encourage you to visit our transfer credit webpage or contact a Queen's admission team at transfer@queensu.ca. So it can take up to 4 to 8 weeks for your transfer credits to be assessed. So please be patient. Please do not take any courses that you suspect will get credit for here at Queen's. Not unless you want to retake the courses, because you will not receive credit for for 2 of the same courses. So for more information for the full degree plan requirements, please go to our website. Should you decide to change programs once you've started, you can do this. You will just need to send us an email with the new program you wish to switch to. I actually did that. I started off in liberal arts and then I moved to psychology. So for program levels, they are determined by the number of past units completed towards the requirements of the concentration as specified by the department. So typically, who are in level 1 are first year students taking 100 level courses. Those who are in level 2 are taking 200 level second year courses, and so on. So level is determined by the number of past units completed. So level 1 is from 0 to 23.9 units. Level 2 is from 24 to 47.9 units. And level 3 is from 48 to 83.9 units. Fall and winter term registration usually occurs in July. Enrollment appointments are issues for students during this time frame. which means you will not be able to finalize your course choices until the specific date and time of your enrollment appointment. So, recommend you enroll in both fall and winter terms during the registration period in July. Summer term registration usually occurs in February. Not all courses are offered every term or every year. So, if there's one that you're planning to take and it's available, just enroll. Visit the course enrollment webpage for course planning worksheet. And next, I will turn it over to Heather to talk about important dates.
Thank you, Natasha. Okay, so recording the important dates and deadlines in your own calendar is very important if you want to keep track and if you want to have them for quick reference. So you can find the important dates and deadlines under our current student section of our Arts and Science Online webpage. And you can also find the refund schedule dates on the Office of the University Registrar's webpage, and I believe we also link to that on our own ASO webpage as well. So pay attention to the difference between the financial and academic drop deadlines, okay? Because there is a difference, and it makes and there's a big difference between the two. So the financial drop deadline refers to when you can still get 100% of your tuition back for a dropped course. So this usually occurs before the first 2 weeks of term. Okay, so while the academic drop deadline refers to the last date that you can drop a course so that you will not have academic penalty, which means it will be removed from your transcript completely. Okay. Now, the academic drop deadline, you will only be eligible for 25% of your tuition back at that time. So, deciding where you are as weeks go by is important, but it also impacts the amount of tuition that you will get back when you drop a course. So, on the important dates that you see on the screen, we have made reference to when the last day to get 100%, when the last day to get 50%, and when the last day is you can get 25% of your tuition back. So please record those. Now, if you wanted to drop a course after the academic penalty drop deadline, that is a little bit more complicated. So you will need to submit an academic petition or an appeal to explain why you need to drop the course, why you weren't able to drop the course before the academic penalty deadline, and then usually you would also need to explain that you have extenuating circumstances for which you need to provide documentation. And so these academic petition or appeals may not always be granted. So this is why it's really best to check in with yourself and how much time you've been devoting towards the course every week in order to determine if you should be dropping the course or not. And we'll talk about this in future slides. You certainly can always schedule an appointment with an academic advisor to sort of talk about it in order to determine if submitting an appeal is the right situation for you. So again, be mindful of these dates because we don't want you to be in a situation where you will have a course on your transcript that will lower your GPA because you weren't aware of these deadlines. And so just to reiterate, well, I guess I didn't mention it yet, but a failed course does negatively affect your GPA. So if you think you're going to fail, dropping it before you get that F, definitely the best situation. So to reiterate, for the winter 2023 term, January 20th is the last day to drop a course to get 100% tuition back, while March 3rd is the last day to drop a course without academic penalty. So next, we're going to talk about our Arts and Science Online supports and resources. So, Arts and Science Online offers you a variety of supports within the community. You should have already received your welcome letters that include our e-handbook that has lots of information, useful information about how to help you start with your academic journey. We've already made reference to this a few times, but we have a closed Arts and Science Online Facebook group that we recommend that you join. We have over 1,700 students in this group. It's a private group for distance students only, where you can just support each other, post questions, and make study groups and whatnot. I typically will go in there, post about the lunch and learns that I've made reference to earlier. Sometimes students, if they don't know the answer, then sometimes myself or Lisa or Andra on the student team, we will also go in and answer questions. So it is a really great resource. And I recognize that not everybody is a fan of social media or Facebook to be exact, but we highly recommend that you consider setting yourself up with a Facebook account while you're doing your studies for this sole purpose of joining the closed Facebook group because it will be beneficial to you throughout your journey. We also offer a peer mentor program where we match upper year students or recently graduated students with new incoming students who are just starting their journey or who have already started and maybe are just looking for a little more connection. I should be clear that the program is not a tutoring service. It's really just a service to connect you with a person who may or may not be in the same program as you are, or who may be dealing with the same maybe life circumstances that you are. But it's really just a program that will help you connect to your peers, and our peer mentors like Natasha can help guide you to help you access the resources that you need. So typically, I believe we've mentioned this program in your welcome letters. But if you want to sign up to be matched with a peer mentor, you simply just have to send us an email at asc.online@queensu.ca, and we will send you a form to fill out. You just give us some personal information about yourself so that we can, match you with the best suitable mentor. And we usually do that at the beginning of each term. And you may want a person to meet with them on you maybe want to meet with your mentor for only one term, or maybe you're looking for an ongoing relationship, or maybe you want to meet with your mentor weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, or just to check in whenever you can. So really, your involvement is up to you. And our mentors are here once you've been matched, waiting to hear from you. So it's a fantastic program. So I highly recommend that you sign up. Other things that we are doing to connect with you are we produce monthly newsletters to keep you up to date on important information and upcoming events, such as our lunch and learns that I've mentioned several times. Other supports available within the Faculty of Arts and Science are the academic services, where you can get academic advice on program planning, course degree requirements, faculty regulations, policies, and procedures. Our advising services team, you can book appointments through their You Can Book Me service, or they also have started daily Zoom drop-ins in the afternoon so that, maybe you can't book something, but you can, be at your work and maybe still kind of be in a chat room waiting for your turn. So we have a variety of options to help connect you with academic advisors. There's academic consideration, which is there to help manage short-term extenuating circumstances that are beyond your control, that may affect your academics, such as severe illness, death of a close relative. Hopefully not, but I mean, sometimes these terrible things happen. So when and if you're in that situation, your first instinct should always be, oh, I need to submit a request for academic consideration. You'll in the document link, we have a website link for that, so you can read more about what academic consideration entails. Earlier in the slides, I made reference to the academic petition and appeals process. So again, you can meet with an academic advisor to sort of go through all of your needs. And at the end of the day, if you aren't sure what resources you need, and if you're not connected with a peer mentor, or you don't know where to go, then just email us. Email us at the ASO student team, and we will do our best to help connect you to where you need to be. And so we're almost coming to the end. And so next, we're going to talk about other resources that are available Queen's University wide. So Student Academic Success Services cannot talk about this program, this unit enough. They're also called SAS. They offer free webinar tools that assist you with your academic life. They can help you with your skills development in critical thinking, reading, learning, writing, self-management, you name it. There's all kinds of information on their website. They also have the opportunity or the availability to book one-on-one appointments with learning strategists to go over, your study needs. There's also a fantastic resource on their page that is called Academics 101. And it's a resource that I highly recommend that you check out as you are beginning your academic journey. It will truly set you off with success. And so in your, I believe in the documents that you've received with this recording, there is an invitation in there to join the OnQ course for Academics 101. And this would be where you can save your spot. And, it's going to go through topics such as academic integrity, time management, really useful information to ensure that you're starting off as best that you can. So there's also student wellness that we've made reference to so far in this presentation. They can help you with personal, academic, and social health development of Queen students. Now, one thing I should note, though, is that health services, mental health services, and other health services are only available for students residing in Ontario. So if you are living outside of Ontario, this support may not be as useful to you, but their website does have a lot of self-guided programs that you might also find useful. So we highly recommend that you check that out. And there's also a blurb about student wellness services in the e-handbook as well that you might want to check out. Queen's Accessibility Services that we've already chatted about falls under the student wellness umbrella. And this is the office where you would be submitting accommodations that are required if you have a disability or an impairment. We also have career services here to help you. You can book appointments with advisors to help discuss your future education advice or your future education goals, such as grad school. They can only help so much. Again, going back to doing your own independent research, that's very important. They offer workshop and other events, such as career fairs. They're just basically there to answer all of the questions that you have about your career goals and how to get there. Um, there's student awards that is available to help you with your financial aid, and other awards and bursaries that may be available to you. There's the campus bookstore and the Tricolor outlet, where you can purchase swag and other Queen's gear, and of course textbooks. The library offers a lot of resources that are available to help you, that you can access electronically. Some of these resources can be accessible through the OnQ platform, but we're also planning to do a lunch and learn, um, 26th, I think, of January, that is, on navigating on library resources. So that's another session that I highly recommend that you check out, especially if you are new to your journey with arts and science online. And those of you who may be living in a town that have a university located in your city or town, you may be able to access the university library at that institution by giving them your Queen's ID card. So if you have a university in your hometown or close to you, that would be a resource that I would highly recommend that you check out. And the last resource that is very important to mention is Inclusive Queens. So, Queens is fortunate to welcome students, staff, and faculty from very diverse backgrounds. And the university offers a variety of tailored services, programs, and resources to support and engage all individuals from a range of cultures, ethnicities, spiritual affiliations, socioeconomic backgrounds, gender identities, and sexual orientation. So, for more information, we would highly recommend that you go to find the link on our webpage about Inclusive Queens, where you can connect with the communities that you identify with and you want to connect. If you need some help to ensure that you do have access to that community, because campus based versus online, one of my mandates is to try to break down those barriers to ensure that our distance students can access any of the communities that they are looking for on the Greater Queens campus. So if you need any help at all accessing any of the resources, please let us know. Okay, and so with that, I'm now going to pass it back over to Natasha, and she will talk about her tips for success. So, Natasha, over to you.
Thank you, Heather. So, here are some of my ASO student perspective tips for success. So, the first one is record all important dates in an agenda or phone calendar. Record all due dates and assessments for the semester. I'm old school, so I like to write it down in a physical agenda, and I do this on the first day of classes. This makes it easier to plan out my weeks, and it also helps me determine how much time I need to set aside for readings and assignments. At the end of the week, I like to look over at next week in my calendar to see what I have coming up and the following week to make sure I'm not behind in starting an assignment or starting to study for a test. So set yourself up for success by getting organized right from the start so it's harder to fall behind. My second tip is online study groups. So being organized is essential for being successful. For a successful academic semester. And you can also join and make study groups to hold yourself accountable to the material you are learning and give and get support from your classmates. So use the Queen's ASO Facebook group that we mentioned earlier to find peers in your class, or write in the discussion board in your class asking if anyone is interested, meeting weekly or biweekly to touch base and or create a group, or even a group chat via WhatsApp. really helps. I've done that and I've made some great friends that we continue to study and take classes together. So, this helps with accountability and creates a sense of community to combat the isolation of online learning. So, my next tip is self testing. So, I use Quizlet to make tests for myself, and I find them quite useful. Some classes may already have quizzes available if you search your course code. Also, utilize the practice quizzes available in your course or textbook. When you engage with the material, you encode the information more effectively. You will learn this in Psych 100, and it will completely change the way you learn and your perceptions of encoding information. You can also reach out to teaching staff and utilize resources. So, profs and TAs are there to support you. If you feel lost or overwhelmed by a concept or assignment, don't be scared to email them and explain where you're at. You may be able to book a session with them via online office hours and get clarity about your struggle. If you have a question, ask. Sometimes it can feel scary to ask a question for the fear that your question may appear silly or not important, but that's never the case. If you cannot find the answer to your question online, all you have to do is reach out. So, know what resources are available to you and don't feel shy to utilize them. They are there for you to support you through your online journey. So, use free resources such as SAS, Student Awards, and Queen's Wellness Center that Heather mentioned earlier. My next tip is read discussion boards. So, if you have an upcoming test or assignment, read the discussion boards. Sometimes students ask questions you may have or haven't even thought of that can be very helpful. Prof and TAs often provide further guidance and clarification for upcoming assignments, assessments, and evaluations. Uh, the last advice I have for everyone is to make a plan. So, do you know what career path you're interested in? Have you spoken to an academic advisor? How many courses can you manage a semester? And what prerequisites are needed? So, do some research into your academic goals to see how you can align them with the courses available. I hope those tips were helpful, and now I'll hand it back to Heather.
Thank you. Okay, so that wraps up our presentation. So we hope that you found this informative. Before we sign off, I just want to highlight there's a QR code on the screen. We would be forever thankful if you could just, grab your phone, scan the QR code, and open up the feedback form for this presentation. We really rely on the feedback that we get from our students to make sure that we are meeting your needs. We're giving you the information that you were hoping to get. Please take a moment. It won't take you more than 5 minutes, I promise. We really, really would like your feedback. And if you don't have a QR scanner on your phone, that's okay, because if you click the document link that was sent to you, there is a link attached there as well that will bring up the form. Again, it will only take you a few minutes to do, and we really, really want to have that feedback so that we can ensure that we are giving our students the information that they are looking for. Now, because normally we would present these sessions, the orientation session live, but because there's only a small number of students who are starting with this winter, we decided to record. So if any of you have any questions about the material that you learned in this session, please reach out to us, asc.online@queensu.ca, to ask your questions. And I'm more than happy to schedule a one-on-one meeting with you to talk about anything that you didn't quite understand, or if you just, have a few clarifying questions. So with that, we'll say goodbye. for today. We wish you the best of luck for the winter 2023 term. And again, congratulations on choosing Queen's Arts and Science Online. We know, well, we hope you won't be disappointed with your choice. And yeah, we're here. We're here if you need us. So thank you so much and have a good day. Bye.